Hello and welcome. My name is Bree, and today I'm just filming a little roll along foam roller video on how to roll out your lower half of your body and the legs. And so all you need for this class is a foam roller, and we're gonna get started with the foam roller lengthwise, and we're starting from the bottom up. So the very front of your shin is where we're going to start. This muscle is called your tibialis anterior. It can feel, if you kind of get in there and massage with your fingers, it can feel quite hard. So we're going to start there. Find your foam roller and come to a little squat, and then your foam roller is going to be what you're resting your thighs on. So come forward and bring your weight onto the foam roller. Stay aware of how you're holding your hands. Squeeze the ground nice and strong with your finger pads, and you can play with rolling a little bit forward and back. Maybe the toes tuck, maybe they point. When your toes tuck, that's your feet coming into a dorsiflexion shape. Okay, so moving the feet will change what's happening in that muscle. And if you find something that feels quite bright and maybe a little bit painful, trust it's not hurting you, but you are working on rolling through it. And if you find something that does have that deep pain, rather than continuously rolling, what you can try is just pausing and allowing the weight of your body to rest into the support of the foam roller. Maybe shifting more weight onto the right or left side. And if it feels like too much, you can do less weight. I tend to bring my weight forward and to the right or to the left to get more sensation. If you are not feeling too much here, another option would be stretching one leg back. So basically you're in a pigeon form here, and so you can target your shin a little bit easier and get a lot of weight on that front shin. You're rolling from the ankle all the way up to the knee joint. Again, just listen to your body, pausing and allowing the weight of your body to kind of do the work. If you find something that feels interesting, maybe you switch sides and take that pigeon on the other side and breathe. Take another about 3 breaths here, exploring wherever you're at. And then we're going to move on. This is a really good workout or a post-workout routine that you can do after the gym or hiking. Let's shift now off of the foam roller and onto your butt. So you're just going to sit on that foam roller, and we'll start with just having your arms behind you, kind of like a reverse tabletop. If you practice yoga, is kind of what you're set up for, but you're not going up. You're just going to push and pull with your feet. You might not feel much here. You might feel something. Right now we're on both butt cheeks. And so I recommend leaning to one side. You can even cross one ankle over the knee if you want, or just open up through the hip and explore on the weight that the hip that you're at. So right now I'm on my right side, and I'm rolling along the length of the right glute. Again, kind of pausing if something feels interesting and allowing the muscle to relax into the support of the foam roller. And breathe into it, and especially if the intensity builds. And then I'm going to give another variation here. So crossing the ankle over the knee kind of gives that right glute a little bit of a stretch. I have lifted my left glute completely off, and I'm just taking those nice long sweeps. Alright, so from here, release, come over to the opposite glute. And again, if you're looking for more intensity, cross the ankle over the knee. Less intensity, maybe just having the left knee fall out. And roll, pausing or stopping and letting the weight of the body do the work if it feels extra intense. And breathe. We hold so much in our hips. And so it's an opportunity to kind of give back to the body, give thanks to this physical form that takes us all around from task to task in this life. Alright. Take maybe 2-3 more breaths here. And the next part we're going to touch on is the outer hip, a muscle called your tender fascia lata. So you'll come down to your forearm. I'm on my left side, but it doesn't really matter. And so the glute, you were just on the glute, you're aware of where that is on your body. Now bring your hips quite literally about stacked from top to bottom. And then bring your weight forward and back on that foam roller, kind of rolling. And you can play with coming slightly forward. You might feel something there. Or you might need to be slightly farther back. Farther back is going to be getting closer towards the glute. And when you rock and you bring that top hip slightly in front of the left, you might find something that feels interesting. So this muscle, the tender fascia lata, which I've kind of found the spot, now I'm just rolling forward and back on it until I find a spot I want to hang out at. But the tender fascia lata connects to the IT band. And so the IT band is exactly what it sounds like. It's a band. And so with that knowledge of the fact that it is a band, what that tells us is that it can't really be rolled out in the same way a muscle can. And so I like to remind my students to roll out around the IT band. And so it's going to be different for everybody depending on where you hold the stress in your physical form. So some people may get relief from IT band pain by rolling out this spot that we're working on right now, the outer hip. For some people, it might actually be the fronts of the quads, which we will do after this segment. Yeah. Time to navigate. This time you could, if it feels okay for you, just come around. You're on your forearms. I'm going to switch sides so I can still see you, but you're just going to roll around to the other side and boom, you're there. And so As you stack those hips, you can come to that forward and back rock, or you can push and pull with your hands or feet, trying to find the spots. And again, especially with something that feels really tender, let your bottom leg kind of relax so that you can encourage that muscle to release. And breathe. And you can encourage bringing the hip forward or back, or maybe you've already found the spot and you've landed. Practice taking deep, full breaths, expanding deep and wide into the lungs. Think about breathing from east to west through the lungs rather than just front to back. Use the exhales as an opportunity to let go. All right. So take a few more breaths here. And then we'll all meet to roll out the thighs. You'll bring your forearms to the earth, just like if you were in a forearm plank. And we'll start with just doing a neutral roll. So it doesn't really matter where the foam roller's at, but as you press into your forearms, the forearm or the foam roller is going to travel up towards the pelvis to the very tops of the thighs. Now you're in a nice kind of long inchworm version forearm plank. And tug into the forearms. Keep your core engaged. Think about lifting up through the core, through the ribs, and you'll pull all the way until the foam roller just lands above the knee joints. So you can keep moving at this kind of forward back pace. Pause if something feels a little bit intense and maybe you bend and release the knee joints. That's a version of pin and stretch. And now the invitation is to quarter turn your toes towards the right. So now you're encouraging the roller to roll along the inner edge of your right thigh and the outer edge of your left thigh. You're not going all the way out to the IT band because the quad is made up of 4 muscles. And so think about it like if you were to stay neutral, you're only going to get those, like you're not going to get the full length of rolling out through all 4 quad muscles if you keep your toes pointing straight. So right now the toes are towards the right and we're just working really slowly through these long sweeps forward and back. And then you'll notice I kind of just lifted up. I was dumping a little bit in my back. Press into your forearms. Keep some integrity around the core as you roll. Now toes are going to come towards the left. We're exploring the left inner quad and the right outer quad. Notice and observe where it feels the tightest for you so that when you want to come back to rolling out nice and quickly on your own, you can kind of have that memory of where to go to release that tension. Again, you can pause, you can even flex or point your feet, bend and release the knee joint might feel nice. And come back to your neutral push and pull. Next time you pull on those forearms, bring your hands to the mat. Roll over your knees and back onto your shins. Now you're really not the fronts of your shins. You can spend more time here if you would like. But that's all I got for you today. So again, my name is Bree. My business is Bed with Bree. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to do some more practice along videos, and comment below what you'd like to see more of. Thanks.